Hey, how you doing? Um, I'm back. Y'all won't believe what happened to me. Okay? Or should I say happened for me? Cause bitch, life is good, okay? But it wasn't though, because I had went to jail, y'all, for 3 months. 3 months. I was in jail. Um, so I'm still like having a hard time figuring out how to start this it's not really a conversation because I'm talking to myself technically. um but if you're watching this, then I am talking to you. But yeah, like, so I went to jail on a felony, y'all. Oh my God. But they dropped it down to a misdemeanor. So basically I went to jail for assault. Okay, so I guess I have to tell y'all like the whole gist of everything so that it makes sense why the fuck I went to jail. So y'all know I was staying in Airbnbs and stuff before because I made a video before. And yes, I was still on my nomad shit or whatever, and I'm just done with that because bitch, it's just got to be over because bitch, now I don't have a choice because a lot of things have changed. But let me get to the point, okay, from the beginning, from the start. So I met this lovely woman on the Facebook app. Okay. And she does shamanic ceremonies and whatnot. So I went to Texas. Every year I take my daughter to a new state for her birthday. So we decided, let's go to Texas. I had a client down there that I had to take sugar scrubs and butter bars and shit to. So I was like, well, why not just pack it up in my suitcase and just take it to her, right? So that's what I did. So we went to Texas. I got like this little Airbnb. I guess that don't really fucking matter, bitch. Who gives a fuck? But so I was staying there, and the lady that was gonna do my shamanic ceremony or whatever, like, she came down to Texas, right? And she had just relocated from there actually to Arkansas or whatever. So she drove down there. She came down there. We did the shamanic ceremony, bitch. I discovered who the fuck I was in spirit and soul, you know. And I'm the baddest one, bitch. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we did the shamanic ceremony or whatever, and like, it was terrifying. Bitch, I was so scared. And I didn't know why I was scared of her, but then I'm dumb because like the whole time, like, I could hear spirits and they was telling me like, she finna sacrifice you. And I just didn't know what to think. Like, I was in 1,000 places at one time. Like, that was a crazy ass experience. Um, so yeah, like, it was just crazy. It was very much crazy. Um, so yeah, but like they was telling me like what the fuck was going on. And I said something to her after like I came down back to reality. That's not really real because that's another topic. But anyway, I came back down here in this bitch or whatnot, and I told her about it, and she was like, oh, those are agents. They're trying to infiltrate you against me because of who I am, blah, 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 blah. And I saw who she was, and she wasn't lying about who she was because I saw the bitch. I saw it. But anyway, that's beside the point. So anyway, calm down or whatever. Like, after the ceremony, like, my business completely took like a, okay, like, so bad, y'all. Like, they shadow banned me on Facebook. They wouldn't let me advertise my products. Anytime I put a dollar sign on my products, whatever, like, I couldn't make money. So I don't know. I just kind of thought, because of what she told me, that it was just like, uh, I guess the people's trying to keep the simulation together. I thought it was them infiltrating me because they was like, bitch, she know who she is, so we gonna make life harder for her. That's really what I believe. But I was dumb, like, bitch. But the whole time I think she pulled on my abundance energy or whatever, and that's really what happened. But that's besides the point. So bitch, a bitch was broke, and like, she told me that I couldn't go back home to Texas with my mom because she said that my mom was against me and trying to harm me. And if anybody knows, which a lot of y'all don't, and that may be something I talk about because I do want to help with like inner childhood traumas and whatnot. you know, based upon my experience and my ability to channel higher realms and elders and shit like that. That's something that I'm going to talk about later on, about my experience and how I healed from certain things. But like my mom, how do I say? I don't know. She just did a lot of fucked up shit, like to me growing up. But I forgive her and I love her to death, you know, but it was easy for me to believe that because of my experience with growing up and being raised by my mom. So I was like, damn, I can't go back there. So I kind of just was hanging on in Texas or whatever. And then it had got so bad to the point where I couldn't even pay for a motel. So she was like, I'm gonna come get you. We went to Arkansas, stayed at her friend's house for a while. That was kind of cool, I guess. Like her friend is cool, but she has like a lot of like disassociation issues. Like, I don't know. But that's besides the point. So I stayed there for a while in Arkansas, and then it had got so bad out there to the point where we were breaking in after her friend got kicked out. We were breaking into her friend's apartment to have somewhere to sleep, and then we got caught. So then we had to leave. So at the time, last year they had the child tax credit, and she had 2 kids. I had 1. So we put our money together. We got an Airbnb. We stayed there, and we was just like trying to make it work. Fast forward. Okay, fast forward. We got to this man's house. I guess she met some guy on a dating app, and she said that he was supposed to be like a business investor or something, and he had an Airbnb. So we went there, and like the nigga was still there, like, and it was an apartment. So me and Nine, we stayed in the living room area, like on an air mattress, and they stayed in the room back there or whatever. So her and her kids, and it was, I guess it was cool for the time being, and it was an affordable option. But I guess the gig was, or whatever the fuck they be saying, I don't know, bitch. I don't know. But I guess like the reason why he was letting us stay there is because he wanted to fuck her. And when he realized he couldn't, then he just started being really weird and like complaining and shit all the time. And I was just like, what the fuck? But like I was letting her like lead everything, especially in this particular situation, since we were there because she took us there. So you know, I was just kind of letting her handle him or whatever. And then he was like, okay, I want a certain amount like per week. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was sending him payments, because I just thought it would be easier for me to just send money to him, like, you know, whenever I have it, instead of waiting until the day and then just trying to, you know what I'm trying to say? I don't fucking know. But yeah, like, I don't know. I guess that made him mad, because then he started looking at her like, well, why is your friend making payments, but you're not? And then they start getting into it and shit. And then he told us like, hey, you know, on Friday, I want you guys to pay me by 6 p.m. I'm like, all right, cool, you know. So I was doing my due diligence, you know, trying to bring in some coins and whatnot so I could pay. And I was just letting her do her own little thing. And maybe like 2 hours after he told us, it was like at 8 a.m. around that time when he told us. So, yeah, around like 10 o'clock, he calls the police and was like, they didn't do anything. I just want to know my rights. Like, if they don't pay, I just want to know, like, what rights do I have? And the cops are like all confused and like annoyed and shit, because they're like, why the fuck are you wasting our time? And I don't really know what they told him, because then they talked to us separately. But anyway, the cops leave, and then she's just like telling me like, no, we need to address him because he was supposed to invest in my business, and he's just now bringing up a price after saying like he would help me out and blah 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 blah. So I was like, okay. So we have a conversation with him or whatever, and he's just not really fucking paying attention at all. He was like on his phone and he was annoyed. He's just like, what the fuck? Like, just give me my money. So, yeah, that didn't go too well. So then like later on after he gets off at like 5 and we owed him at 6. So we happened to be outside like trying to fix her tire. I had met this really cool dude or whatever and he fixed the tire for her. So, yeah, we were outside doing that after he got off. So we went in, it was almost 6 p.m. So they were talking or whatever, and he's just like, are you guys gonna give me my money or not? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they got into it, and then he started getting really disrespectful and name calling and doing all of that stuff. So that made her really upset. And she's like, bitch, I'm not paying you shit until you say sorry. Because what the fuck, you know? And so then he was just like, fuck it. And we just went to sleep. And the next morning, he starts harassing her again. Like, hey, you guys need to pay me or get out of my house, right? So she's like, I'm not paying you shit until you apologize, blah, 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 blah. So we just kind of stayed there. And, um, she had took some shrooms. I started to notice, like, being around her, she would take shrooms a lot. So I think she was under, like, psychosis or something because she used to say really, like, off the wall shit. Like, it's not that, I mean, don't get me wrong, because my mind is open. And I think some stuff that I may say may come really off the wall to some people. So like I'm open to people's experiences, and I feel like you can't really tell someone that something that they've experienced or that they are experiencing is not true, because if it's true to them, then bitch is true. That's just period. So I would just be sitting there like, okay, you know, but like I didn't want to discredit her experience, right? But then I guess maybe I was just being kind of dumb too. I don't know. I don't know. I just, she would just be taking shrooms all the time. And so, yeah, like she took shrooms the next day. And then like, he was like gone all day because he didn't have to work on the weekends. So he came home that night and then she's still on shrooms and she's like, feeling herself or whatever, and she's just like, he doesn't know who I am, I own this planet, and blah 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 blah, right? So she's like going off, and then all of a sudden she just like starts like throwing shit everywhere, and she opened up the window and she was screaming at the dog and having a conversation with the dog, and then she started talking about white people and how white people are rapists and all this crazy stuff, like completely disrupting the whole neighborhood, the whole apartment complex. So somebody called the police, and they came knocking at the door, but we didn't answer the door and they didn't do nothing. So it was just like, cool. So I was a little freaked out, but I was just like, you know, I was just trying to make sure the kids were safe and whatnot. So yeah, like she calmed down or whatever. We cleaned up and all that stuff and went on about our day. So the guy comes back the next day and he comes in the house with a fucking gun, like pointing the gun. And she had her phone, so she was recording him, like, so then he put his gun away. And I guess he was just probably scared. I don't know. I was scared too, bitch, to be honest. But anyway, um, yeah, he comes in with his gun and he's just like, um, yeah, you guys need to get out my house, the same bullshit or whatever. So, he finally leaves again, but like, I think he came back and then he called the police. And then when he called the police came and they were like, well, technically you can't make them leave because they've been here for this amount of time or whatever. So then he just like packs up all his stuff. And I think he had somebody he knew in the apartment complex. So he like took all his belongings to their apartment. But in the midst of him taking his things, he also took some of my things, like my purse, my phone, everything like that. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I didn't really notice because I left my phone and my purse like on the banister thing, like in the dining area slash kitchen place, majigger things, vacations. And yeah, like I didn't notice until like after he left that like my shit was gone. So then we called the police because now he's a thievery, you know? So yeah, like he comes back another time. Like, so I think the next day, because they said they couldn't do anything because he didn't like admit that he stole anything. So they couldn't do anything. So I think like the next day or something, he comes back, but she had went to the grocery store and yeah, he came in like right after she went to the grocery store. So, and I didn't have a phone because he stole it. So I just basically told him, like, hey, if you give me my stuff back, like, I'll leave. Like, I was just over it at this point, like, completely. It's like, you know what? I'll just leave on my own. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, but I can't leave because you have like my ID and all that stuff. Like, I need that stuff to go on about my business, you know? So he was like, well, I'll give you your stuff if you leave right now. And I'm like, well, can you wait till she comes back? Like, you know? So yeah, because he took the kids' shoes too that were by the front door. And the kids were with me, obviously. So like, I'm not gonna have kids just sitting outside waiting with a bin of clothes. Like, that's retarded. So, yeah, I was like, can you wait till she comes back? So he starts growing impatient or whatever. And he's just like, he kept coming in and out the house. And then he starts getting aggressive with me. And he was like, I'll make you leave. Like, you bitches need to get out of my house, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I just want my stuff back. Like, and he's like, well, I'll take it to you, but you have to leave now, and saying the same shit. And I just wasn't comfortable with that. So, yeah, like he grabbed me or whatever. And, um, like it left me with a scratch on my arm. So I called the cops when she got back, and they didn't, like, they said they were coming, that they were on the property looking for him, but they never came and checked on me or talked to me or anything, which was kind of weird. But I was like, okay, whatever. So I just went to sleep, and then like maybe 2 days later, he comes back again, and at this point, I'm losing track. I don't fucking know. But at some point when he comes back, he then steals her phone, and she's on shrooms again in the fucking closet, and I'm giving my daughter a bath. So I heard like the door open and close, but like I was giving my daughter a bath. So yeah. Um But yeah, like we quickly realized after that, like her phone was gone. So at this point, she's like crazed, like mad. Like she had a machete and she went outside with the machete looking for him, but she couldn't find him. So she came back inside and she's still on shrooms, and we're just sitting there like looking stupid. And, you know, eventually he comes back, and he has like the neighbor across the way, which was really mad at her because of her whole episode that she had with disturbing the neighbors and shit and yelling all fucking night. Was really mad at her. So he was like recording the dude at the door, and we were at the door. Keep in mind, he had really none of his belongings in his place any longer. He took them like days ago and took them to someone else's house. And he kept trying to get through to where the kids were, where our clothes and stuff were. And we had the oldest daughter like lock the door to keep them safe or whatever. And I had pepper spray and I had a taser, and she had the machete. And she had this belief that like she could kill people and get away with it because she really feels like she owns Earth and that she's the cosmic mother and other crazy shit like that. So, but I just, bitch, my nerves were bad. So like she keeps swinging this machete at him, and I keep trying to pepper spray him, and he's like kicking at us and shit. And we don't have any, like, we can't just call the cops, like, you know, because we don't have access to a phone. And I keep screaming at him, like, call the cops, call the cops. It's like, no, you bitches got to get out of my house, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, he calls the cop. Well, no, he didn't call the cops yet. So she's still swinging this machete at him. And I'm like so terrified, like she's going to kill him and I'm going to be accomplice to murder. So like I tased him to like make him stop kicking at us so she wouldn't like kill him, you know? And yeah, like after I tased him, I just like a you know, like a like that. I guess that was enough for him to call the cops at this point. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, okay, well, I've already called the police on him multiple times for assault at this point, for stealing my things like that. So I'm thinking that the police may protect me, you know, since there are police reports, you know, but bitch, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. I was so wrong, you know, because I went to jail. So, they come up there and they're interrogating us or whatever and asking us questions. Um, and they saw the weapons or whatever, the taser, the machete. So they take us to jail. So like we asked them, like, why are we, you know, going to jail? Like what for exactly? What's the charge? And they're like family violence. So I'm like, okay, cool. So when they came and got us, I guess at first they were gonna leave our children with this man. I don't know if he said that they could leave him or I don't fucking know, but bitch, they was gonna leave our kids with him. So like yeah, we end up telling them like, no, like call CPS. Cause they did ask me, did I have anybody in Texas that my daughter could go with? And I'm like, no, I don't know anybody here, you know? So they processed my daughter into CPS and her children as well. And um when I went to jail, I saw the CPS person first, and the lady was just telling me like, if you come and get her within a week, like you can get her out and go on about your business. So they wanted me to sign paperwork, like basically approving like a request for my daughter to be placed with family elsewhere. But I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm about to get out because I've never been to fucking jail. And the people that I do know that have been to jail, they usually get out like within a few days, if not the same day that they get prosecuted. Is that the word? You know? So I'm thinking like, okay, I'll just be able to get out, go get my daughter and figure this shit out, right? Well, I was wrong again. I was very much wrong because my bail was $10,000. It was $10,000. And they prosecuted me on a felony, a class. No, it's not a class. It's a felony second degree, um, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon based upon her charge because she got the first degree with the deadly weapon, which happened to be the machete, right? So yeah, I went to jail and then finally they dropped it like 16 days after me being in there, they dropped it or whatever. And yeah, they fucked up the paperwork and they didn't want to fucking fix it. So I was just in there for a really long time for a misdemeanor. Um, but yeah, my daughter went into CPS care, which was like my worst nightmare ever, and going to jail, bitch. I had to just face those fears, okay? I had to face them. But yeah, she went to CPS and my mom eventually was able to get her out. I did that same day after I got my bond or whatever, or bail or whatever the fuck. After I got that, I had a really cool caseworker and she had me call my mom and she was on the phone with CPS at the same time. And we authorized for, you know, my mom to get temporary custody of my daughter, and she tried to come get her and everything. But I guess somebody fucked up that paperwork and processed my daughter into CPS way before they were supposed to or whatever. And at that point, she just had to go through the whole process. So she's with my mom now. She got out of CPS before I got out of jail, thank goodness. And she was in a pretty cool placement. But yeah, I feel like I just needed to go to jail to like get my shit together because I act really dumb sometimes and I have a really big pure heart and I just like I love people, you know, and they be trying to fuck with me, you know? And I just, you know, I just used to let them, you know? So, you know, I almost got soul sacrificed and whatnot. And I was in jail dealing with a lot because it was really starting to hit the fucking fan that like this bitch is trying to soul sacrifice you. And she had people, okay? She had other entities and deities and shit. And they was coming to me and they was fucking with me and stuff. So I had to go through all that. But yeah, I broke the chain and I feel like now I'm so much more interconnected with myself the way I'm supposed to be, because I feel like a lot of people see me for who I am, but like I couldn't see myself for who I was because I was just, I don't fucking know, bitch. I don't know. But I did a lot of inner healing. I did a lot of self-reflection while I was in there. Um, I started meditating a lot. I had like this whole 3 times a day meditation routine. I started doing yoga in jail, breath work and whatnot, and reading a lot. And I used to read a lot like in middle school and high school. So that was really cool to like get back into really reading and enjoying reading, because it's fast out here, and it's hard to just sit down and read a book, especially as a fucking adult when you got responsibilities and stuff. But yeah, so um yeah, I found this really cool book. It was called We're All Doing Time, A Guide to Breaking Free. And that was a really cool fucking book. And it had like yoga positions and stuff in it, and breath work methods and techniques, and just a lot of insight. And basically in the book, what stuck out to me the most is he was saying that, when we first come into this place, like we just want our mama's love, right? And then after that, then we want toys and we want different foods and different, like stuff, and then we get caught up in this cycle of chasing the feel good. And if you just breathe and just be, bitch, you can feel good anytime. You don't need nothing to feel good. Okay. I was in jail. Okay, with crazy people, with angry people, with negativity ass people, and I was still feeling good. Okay, after I stopped fucking crying and feeling sorry for myself, and oh, this happened to me, and this person did this to me, and oh my God. Once I stopped all of that, then I was able to feel good and really like find the center of that within myself. And I'm so grateful for the experience. Like, I don't regret it. I don't feel bad about anything. Like, I feel like we all have to live and we all have to learn. And that's just something that I needed to go through, because now that like someone tried to actually soul sacrifice me, bitch, my protection is on 1,000. Okay. I'll never let a bitch come for me again. Like, it really had to be that crazy of an extreme for me to like not let people try me like that. Cause y'all know who I am. Don't do that. But anyway. But yeah, sometimes you gotta go through crazy shit. I've been going through a lot of crazy shit, bro. I don't know. This has been a crazy ass lifetime, but it's very interesting, and I've learned a lot so far, and it's really cool. So yeah, I'm just like living and stuff, and I'm out. Yeah, so I guess I'll make more videos and talk about things that I've learned. I'll tell y'all story times. I had like a little crackhead friend in there, y'all. She was fucking cool as fuck. And I had some other people that I, talk to or whatever, and I learned from and stuff. But I have a lot to talk about. I have a lot of new insight. I have a lot of new ideas, a lot of new theories, a lot of new insight. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you ain't subscribed. And yeah, like just stay tuned in, because I'm gonna really start now that I got this little iPhone, because I had this little rinky-dink ugly ass. I ain't gonna do that, because at least I had a phone. I gotta be grateful. So, but it was a hot mess, and I was not finna get on here on that damn camera. Child, please. So yeah, now that I got a better camera, I'll come on here more often and just daily insights. Okay? All right, bye.